the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan, so they because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting, and I say, why is it we only take people from whole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are...
What is your response to something like that? And what do you have to say about him?
Well, I've heard, however, I find it to be very disgusting that the President of the United States would refer to countries in Africa as the doodle holes that he referred to them. And it shows unprofessionalism. It shows disgusting behavior.
I have Brother Salim on. He's president of the Flaming Crescent Society.
Right.
You know what? I encourage people to join the Flaming Crescent Society. And please, brother, make an introduction to yourself. First, assalamu alaikum.
Well, alaikum salam rahmatullah. Pleased to see you again, my brother. I'm the founder of an organization entitled the Flaming Crescent Society that was started some years ago. And on point number 17 in the book, there's a book written by a historian. He's not even a Muslim. His name is Michael H. Hart. And in this book, he said that Prophet Muhammad, out of all the great leaders in history, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon, he said that Muhammad was the most influential of all men in history.
Y'all looking at the Underground Railroad podcast, TV show. And again, this is Brother Salim, leader and president of the Flaming Crescent Society in Chicago. But you know, Brother Salim, I may have asked you this question already. Why is the news media, when one Muslim does something wrong, like, say, for example, blow up a building, they want to castigate the whole Islamic Ummah out of the whole religion, but when somebody of a different religion does something like that, they do not castigate the whole good Christian religion. What's the reason for that?
Well, again, this good point, good question. That is illogical and irrational as blaming the whole auto mechanic industry for one bad mechanic.
Yes.
You understand? That's just as bad as if you go to the ice cream shop and you find an insect in your ice cream cone. That's just as bad as condemning the whole ice cream industry. You understand? The Ku Klux Klan refer to themselves as Christians, right?
Yes.
They burn crosses, right?
Yes.
But we don't blame Jesus Christ for the evil and the racism of the Ku Klux Klan, do we?
No.
So therefore, when we find a few Muslims who may be guilty of extremist or fanatical behavior, why should we blame Prophet Muhammad or the whole Muslim world for what a few Muslims may do that goes a violation against the Holy Quran? You understand? That's illogical just as well as the other example that I cited. But what we see the motivation behind this, in my opinion, and I've studied this phenomenon for quite a while, is that we have some anti-Islamic forces that operate in the news media, they operate in Hollywood, and so it's their agenda to purposely disparage and use discrimination in order to purposely damage the image of Muslims, because they have an agenda in the Middle East where they feel it would make it be much easier for them to get the public on their side if they can make a more movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, going to war against Muslims, especially if their quest is to go into the Middle East and to take over the oil.
Okay.
You understand? And to control Muslim land. So therefore, it becomes imperative that the news media and other governmental forces, maybe like the CIA and the FBI and groups of that nature, alphabet agencies, work in cahoots to depict Muslims in a bad light.
You know what? Before other question, was something that was eluding me. What do you think about the UK stance on removing the burqa from the Islamic movement? What is the reason? What is the motivation for that? Burqa for people don't know, and the niqab from their faces. And burqa the people that don't know, that's the woman covering her face up and about it. What is the reason, and what is your opinion about that?
Well, my personal opinion on that is based upon the hadith, my brother. The hadith is for those that viewers that may not know, the hadith is the sayings of Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
Okay, and in the sayings of Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad said that a Muslim sister should cover up, but he also said that the only thing that she may leave uncovered is the face and the hands. So the niqab is actually not an obligation. However, if a Muslim sister chooses to wear it, it's all right. It's all right, and no one should interfere with her right to dress however she pleases. Okay? So my personal position on it is that if I have a Muslim wife, I would not require her to wear it, but if she chose to wear it, out of feeling that it's an obligation on her religiously, then that right should not be interfered with. And no organization, I don't care if it's, I don't know, whatever country, France, I'm aware of the fact that France and several other countries, have been trying to ban Muslim sisters from wearing the niqab, but they really don't have a right. That's a violation of a person's religious right to dress however they want to dress.
And you know what? Great, but when we talk about social media and the impact that it has made on society, you look at Facebook and YouTube, we just think people have a perfect life. Why is it when you go on certain platforms, they will delete to ban your YouTube channel or other channels because you're saying something Islamic, but there's all type of FUs and I hate you and Ku Klux Klan on those social media platforms. What's the reason for that? What?
Well, I've been a victim of that myself, my brother. I've been censored or either blocked on Facebook. At least I counted estimated at least 60 times.
Wow.
During the 10 or more years that I have been on Facebook myself. And all I do is get on there and I post information about Islam. I try to post enlightening information about our Black history in order to uplift our culture consciousness. But yet again, I've been a victim of being banned, censored, blocked, those many times, my brother. And the only conclusion that we can come to is that there is a systematic effort to prevent the masses of the people from waking up culturally and spiritually.
Wow, man. I mean, you know what? There's a song. There's a song on YouTube. And it's been up there for years saying, "I hate the N-word." It's a song.
Yeah.
And you know what? It has been up there for years. I show it to you one day.
Yeah, I believe it.
But
they won't censor that, but they will censor a righteous person trying to share positive information with the public.
What are your feelings about Netanyahu in Israel and the plight of Palestinian people and the way it's been portrayed on television?
I have a big problem with the news media protecting the image of real terrorists.
Yes.
You don't find anywhere in history where Muslims have systematically went around the planet murdering 60 and 70,000 people at a time, as Benjamin Netanyahu has done in Palestine. He's a terrorist. Let's make no bones about it. Let's not try to water things down. He's a terrorist, and any government that support what Netanyahu has done is equally guilty as if they had supported the native extermination of the Native American people, as if they had supported our ancestors being enslaved and brought over on ships for 400 years and worked almost to death from sunup to sundown without compensation. They are all equally guilty. What's happening to the Palestinians over there right now with napalm and bombs and this type of weapon of mass destruction being dropped on them, this is a shame and a disgrace for all of humanity.
Wow, man. He's wanted on war crimes too, I believe.
He should be. He should be wanted on war crimes, just as the Nazis were wanted on war crimes for what they perpetrated against the Jews in Nazi Germany. Let me clarify something. I want to clarify this point right here, that what I'm saying is not anti-Semitic. I am not against all Jews, because the Holy Quran specifically says that there are some good Jews and there are bad Jews. The Quran says that there are good Jews who sincerely believe in worshiping God, but we also have the ungodly Jews who have deviated.
Yeah.
You understand? These were the same type of Jews with the same type of mentality that vexed Moses, that vexed the prophet David, that disrespected and insulted Jesus Christ. You understand? They chose to free Barabbas rather than free Jesus, even though Jesus was an honest man. So when we look at people, individuals like Netanyahu, we're looking with at an individual that has the same mindset as the ancient wicked Sadducees and Pharisees.
As we talk about Hollywood and the media, how do we go about trying to get the media to slow up on what they're doing and depicting Muslims in a negative light? We can't do anything.
Brother, we can do a whole lot, and we can do, and you yourself is an example of what we can do with your YouTube channel, my brother. The shows that you have produced over the years, the Underground Railroad, where I was privileged enough to be invited to be a part of on numerous occasions, my brother. There's a whole lot that we can do. Muslims themselves, need to get on social media. Unfortunately, I see sometimes Muslims on social media, brother. I'm on Facebook page, and there are certain individual Muslims. I'm not going to call any name or identify anybody, but they get on there with nothing but gossip and garbage, just like any of the non-Muslims do, when they could be using their social media page in order to uplift the message of Islam. Yusuf Ali said in his translation of the Quran, in his introduction, it's the duty of every Muslim to know, to study, and understand the Quran to his greatest capacity, so that we can fulfill our obligation given to us by Almighty God to spread the message of Islam, my brother. Now think about what would happen if all of the billion Muslims on the planet Earth, brother, did their job in Islamic propagation. Instead, you got a lot of Muslims that just stay up in the mosque, counting on zikr beads, and I'm not condemning prayer, I'm not condemning worship, but Allah wants us to do more than just stay locked up in the mosque and praying all day long. I got out on the corner this past weekend, Saturday morning. I got out on the corner with flyers inviting people to our community event on the third Saturday of every month, right? And the reaction that I got, brother, was positive. It was uplifting. People were glad to see someone out on the street corner with a positive message. You understand? Speaking out against the self-hate and the violence that's going on in the community. Yes. Just like the Jehovah's Witnesses get out there on a regular basis, my brother, the Muslims should be getting out on these streets on a regular basis. They should be using social media to spread not just the message of Islam, but to speak up against the violence and the self-degradation and the division that's going on in our community today.
I have two more questions for you. One is about Saudi Arabia. You know what? I would like to ask you about what is Saudi Arabia justified for having foreign troops on their land and just complicitly just sitting back and watching Palestinians being being killed. Saudi Arabia, I forgot the king's name.
Well, a lot of the Muslim world question the behavior of some of the Saudi Arabian rulers today. One of the best and last rulers of the Saudi kingdom that we had was King Faisal. And many doubt that if King Faisal was alive today, that he would allow the things that we see happening over in that part of the world, that he would allow it to go on. You know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself said in some of his prophetic saying that in the last days that the Arabs would fall asleep.
Yes.
And I believe, and many other people believe, that we are witnessing that today. Allah says himself in the Quran, he said, condemns the desert Arabs in chapter Surah 9, as being the worst of hypocrites.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And so, again, based upon what Allah says in the Quran and what Prophet Muhammad predicted in his hadith, we've seen that come to pass.
Yes. And this is the last question. It's about China. I know, and there are Muslims that are being persecuted for their belief in Allah.
Yes.
Okay. With President Xi and the whole Communist Party. First of all, tell us what's happening from your perspective, and how do you feel about it?
I think it's the Uyghur Muslims, they call the Chinese Muslims, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I remember reading something about that situation a couple of years ago. I'm not an expert, or I haven't been following that on a regular basis, but yeah, I have heard that the Chinese Muslims, have been persecuted, for their beliefs. They've been put in concentration camps. They have denied worship. They can't pray or fast during the month of Ramadan, and this is a horrible situation for believers in Allah, to be in. And I believe that we should all be in support of the Uyghur Muslims. We should be praying for them, and hopefully one day they will be able to rise up and stand up against this oppressive, atheistic, communistic system, which is against them simply on the basis they believe in Allah.
For this Islamic phobia that we're talking about, is it a possibility that there's just so much hatred and ignorance about Islam in the West? Is this a possibility they could start doing something like this in the United States of America?
Well, the absolute possibility,
like the UK,
the absolute possibility exists. Do you remember a movie that Denzel Washington did? I think a couple years after he did the Malcolm X movie, they had Denzel Washington do a movie called The Siege.
Okay.
Do you remember that movie?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, I invite you to go on YouTube or go to a place where you can find that movie in maybe a used store. Maybe I've seen it in certain used or thrift stores, or you can go out to Orland Park and they have a DVD place that they sell DVDs and books. You can probably find it out there, get them to order it for you, or you can order it online. That movie that Denzel played the part of a FBI agent that went after Muslim terrorists, and in the movie they put Muslims in concentration camps. You understand? Just like they're doing in China right now, and persecuting Muslims in a place in India and places like that. Okay, so the very possibility is real. I mean, we know that under COINTELPRO, they had Muslim leaders on their doodle list, like Malcolm X and others. They had the Nation of Islam on the government list. You understand what I'm saying? So, what would prevent them if push come to shove, and things get even crazier? What would protect Muslims except the divine power of Allah.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know, brother, I want to thank you for embracing my audience with your presence and giving your knowledge. And you know what? There may have been something that you wanted to say that I didn't
Yes.
give you the opportunity to say, and tell us about your organization and your great paper.
Okay, let me just say this here. You know, we put out a publication called the Flaming Crescent newsletter. Speaks out against drug addiction, black on black violence, and we uplift the name and legacy of Brother Malcolm X. We also, on the third Saturday of every month, located at 108 46 South Halsted at the inside the Muhammad Law Center, we have established a Malcolm X research library.
In Chicago, right?
Yeah, right here on the south side of Chicago, where people can come in and, you know, learn about Islam, their black history. We also have, again, we meet there the third Saturday of every month at 108 46 South Halsted. That is the Flaming Crescent Society. And also, let me give a plug, if I may, to Attorney Hakeem Muhammad. Attorney Hakeem Muhammad is a civil rights lawyer, but he also handles police misconduct, civil rights cases, personal injury, and wrongful conviction. He can be contacted at area code 773-236. And so the Flaming Crescent Society is located inside the Muhammad Law Center and our Malcolm X Research Library. You know, we have rare books on Black history, Islam, and also Brother Malcolm X. And we as a group, you know, we're trying to bring peace and unity in our community. Sometimes we get out there on the street corner to talk to our people and share the message of Islam.
And what's the quick reason why people should not be Islamophobia? What's the reason they should not exhibit those type of attributes? What's the reason?
Well, they should.
I know I said that was
a good question.
Show,
that's a good question.
Finish with that.
That's a good question for us to finish on, my brother. They should not be Islamophobic because they must understand that every human being born on planet Earth, born in the universe, is a Muslim by nature. That is, you were born with a righteous disposition to submit to the will of God. The word Muslim only means one who obeys God. And we believe in Islam, which means peace. Okay, Islam, unlike the other religion, does not get its name from a man. For example, you have Buddhism named after Buddha, Zoroastrianism named after Zoroaster, Christianity named after Christ, Judaism named after Judah, but Islam is the only way of life that gets its name from one of the 99 names of God in Islam, that is Al-Salam, meaning the peace. So Islam in its very root is connected to peace and submission to the will of God. And every child that was born, Prophet Muhammad said this, brothers and sisters, he said that every child that's born is born Muslim, meaning it was born with a righteous character. Mm-hmm. And we even go beyond that. When we say that everything is a Muslim, we mean the sun is a Muslim, the moon is a Muslim, the stars are Muslim, the bees is the insects, the trees, the animals, all were born Muslim, meaning that they were born submitting to the divine will of God. Did you ever see the sun? Did you ever see the sun say, I'm not coming up this morning?
It's in obedience to
It obeys God. Yeah. The stars obey God. The planets obey God. You understand? Everything in this universe, in this whole creation, was born Muslim by nature. So this is the reason why people should not hate or be Islamophobic or have something against Muslims, because Muslims are righteous people. We are peace-loving people. But now we do have a right to defend ourselves, the Quran said, if we are unjustly attacked. Mm-hmm. But other than that, Muslims are peaceful, righteous, loving people. And I invite the audience to come visit us at the Flaming Crescent Society. That is 108 46 South Halsted. You can contact us at the number 312-824-7283, and we'll meet you and sit you down and give you an explanation of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, the Holy Quran, and any question that you have.
Jesus.
That's right. Because we love Jesus. We don't have anything against Jesus. The problem that Muslims have is with the Christian preachers who take the words of Jesus, twist it, and use it for sexual manipulation and monetary gain. We have absolutely nothing against Jesus. We have a whole chapter of the Holy Quran, chapter 19, named after the mother of Jesus. So how could we not love or how could we disrespect Jesus?
Yes, alhamdulillah. So you know what, brother, again, I thank you for giving it your time and your effort and giving your knowledge. And I hope this is received well, and I believe it will be. And it's been too long. So watch the Underground Railroad every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. on the internet in Chicago, but it's seen on the web. And you know what? Support this. You can't support me with a little capital to my PayPal account. You know what? Leave me in your du'as, because I kind of think that'd be more important. Du'as need prayers. So I want to say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for watching the Underground Railroad podcast. Assalamu alaikum. Great.
Black on black violence and other self-destruction.
What your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren? Great.
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they...
Some people don't know what NSA is.
The National Security Administration. And when I walked up in there and seen that, they got video screens. I mean, from here to 35th Street.
Those street cameras, right?
Those are the screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I said. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.
Well, wait a minute, all the while.